Hello guys, so we're going to have a look at what a webhook is, how to implement them. So I'm going to be using Express in this. I just want something very minimal. So if you know Python, you can also do the same thing along with Flask or Django. So it says a webhook is an HTTP based callback function that allows lightweight event-driven communication between two APIs, two application programming interfaces. Now, I'm going to break this down, but I'm going to do that with a very simple example, and then we'll go into implementing what we're going to do. Now, so look at this. So imagine you go to a restaurant and you're kind of tired. But then a waiter comes to you and says, okay, what do you want? And you're like, oh, nothing for now. You just want to rest. And then maybe 5 minutes later, the waiter comes back again and says, you ready to get something? And you're like, no, not now. I'll let you know. But then this keeps happening maybe every 5, 10, 15 minutes. And then you're not able to catch your breath as quickly as you'd like. So this is what a normal service would look like. Then they keep communicating, and yeah, it takes a lot of time, particularly, and maybe resource based on the time. So now this is what you'd usually call polling. Okay. All right, so when this means the kitchen keeps asking if you need something. But then if you look at what a webhook does, basically is when you get to the restaurant, you have a phone on your table, and then the user can always, anytime the user needs anything, the user can just pick up that phone and say, okay, give me chicken and chips. And then the kitchen people in the kitchen are like, okay, yeah, here you go, have your chicken and chips and enjoy. So yeah, no one is disturbing you. We can immediately see the benefits from this. I mean, you get there's less communication here, but yeah, you can see there's not so much traffic. Yeah, you just ask for what you want and then you get the data straight up. So you only get your food when you make a phone call. So we're going to get to what that is and then what this actually means when it comes to webhook. So that's what a webhook is basically. Just like this says, it's an HTTP callback function that allows lightweight event-driven communication between two application APIs. All right. So the callback function is you're calling that with your phone call, and then this here says lightweight event driven communication. So lightweight because you're not communicating a lot, and it's event driven because you only communicate with that other server when you want to get food. This is the event. Give me chicken and chips, and then you get your response. But from this, here you go. So yeah, that's what a webhook is basically. Now, let me give you a quick overview of what we are going to be building here. So what we're going to build here is basically a user will be able to make an order, right? And then when that order is made, the kitchen can start working on it. So if the kitchen uh, is cooking and then they send that status to the server, the user gets updated on that. So when the food is ready, they also send it to the server, and the user gets to know about that. And also, if it needs to be delivered, the kitchen can send the order that okay, this food is out for delivery, and then the user also knows about it. So that's what we're going to build. So this is basically going to build the webhook. We're going to see the webhook URL, right? So the webhook actually is going to be a URL the user is going to pass here when they are creating their order, so that the kitchen can, whenever there's an update from the kitchen, the server can always call that webhook URL. So that webhook URL stands in place for the communication between the two APIs, right? This and this part. Okay. So let's get straight. To be able to do this, you need to have Node installed. If you don't have Node installed, you can just go to nodejs.org.en, just nodejs.org, and then based on your language, you can just download the latest stable version, right? Yeah. So when you download it, if you do Node V, you should get a version, and yeah. So let's create a project. I'm gonna say npm init y. So this will create something for us. Okay, so to create a package of JSON, let me enter that. So what I want to do here is change this to a module. So this will treat our project like a module. You don't need to worry much about that if you don't know what that means. Okay, so we're going to create a file here called server.js. So feel free to use any editor of your choice, or anyone you like. I'm using new of him right now. So I'm going to install um Express. Right. So this is what is going to help us run our server. So so let's import that. Okay. Oh, it's in there already. So we're going to create an app, right? We're going to say, okay. So if I do node server.js, as you can see, it says the server has started on port 3000. Cool. So now let's create the first the first endpoint, the first API. So this is going to help, this API is one that's going to help the users be able to make an order, right? So we're going to create a URL in which the user can always use to make an order. So yeah, so we're going to say app.post, then we're going to say order/create, or just do, okay, let me just say order/create. So we're going to say response, okay. We're going to pass in the callback function there, the request handler, and then we're going to say, right now, let's just do console.log request.body. Okay. So this is what the user is going to send to us. It's going to be inside request.body, right? Uh okay, so I want my server to reload anytime I make changes to it. So I'm going to do node watch, right? You could use nodemon if you know what that is, but yeah, I'm just going to use this because this is just something very basic that we need to just do real quick. And now, so to test this, I'm going to use what we call okay, postman, and this will enable us be able to make a post request. Usually you can't do that in your browser. You can only get stuff in your browser. So for example, you can go to onojs.com and then you get something as a response, right? But you cannot send data to this just from here. To send data, you usually do that on a form, let's say login form or something like that. So but postman helps us able to do that without having to fill forms, right? So this is going to be on. So since we are running this locally on our PC, we are going to do localhost 3000, right? So remember, it's a post request and it's on order/create. So when you make this request, it should give us. Let me cancel this, right? So if we come back here and check, we can see it says undefined. So something was printed here, means we didn't get anything from here. Right, so to be able to send data, we're just going to come to body and say we want just raw. Okay, so we're going to say let's just call it chicken and chips, right? So this is the name of the order, and then we need to say our webhook URL where we want uh this app to communicate to us on whenever there's an update on this status. All right, so this is going to be the webhook URL. And now there's also a site that helps with that. So you can go to webhook.site. So so once you come here, it assigns the URL to you automatically. Uh, so this is your webhook URL. It's just for testing. So I can put this here and say webhook URL, and then I'm going to put this in here, right? So that works. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to say I'm going to return something. Okay, .json. So I'm going to return a JSON file, and that's going to be request.body. So now let's see if we get our request.body. I doubt we're going to get it because we still need to uh, pass the data. So once we do this, you can see if I after reloading, we are still getting undefined right here. So we need to do this app.use. So we need to tell Express that we are expressing data, we're expecting data, right? So I'm going to save that, and so anytime I run this now, we should get this here, as you can see, right? So yeah, we're going to create. So instead of using a database here, I'm going to use a dictionary for now. A dictionary, I mean, just something simple. And then our order ID is going to be, okay, object dot keys orders. So depending on the number of orders there, I'm going to add this, okay. And then we're going to say constant our order, okay, is equals to request the body, right? So also we want to say give our order a default status. Again, we're going to say cooking. You know what? Let's just leave this to on pending. All right, pending. Let's just put pending there. And I can't remember all the status that I mentioned when I was explaining right now. So, but let's just do this. So when we say pending, then we want to add the orders to the dictionary, right? Then we're gonna say order. So we're gonna do console.log our order, our orders dictionary, and see what we have there, right? So now if I make this request, okay, send data, as you can see here, we have status pending. Let me increase this so we can see better. Uh, yeah, as you can see, ID of one, and then we have the name, the web query, and the status. So now let's create a way to be able to so this a way for the those in kitchen to be able to update the order status, right? So we're gonna say order slash update status, and then we're going to take in the status here, okay. You know what, we're going to take in the status, the order ID instead here rather, okay. So the status update is going to be taken from request.body dot status, right? So just like we passed in this, we are going to be passing in a status update instead. So note, this is a very simplified example of what I'm doing, right? Just to explain the concept of how webhook works. So we have the status update, and so what we're going to do is you also want to get the order, right? So we're going to say request.params. So let's console log this and see what we have. Status update order ID. So anytime our server restarts, uh, right, the dictionary clears off, okay. So I'm going to create this. No, I'm going to come here first. I'm going to do this, right? Okay, so if I come here, let me copy this. So what I'm going to do is update status one. So you know what? Instead, I'm going to log orders with that order ID, right? And I'm going to save that. So if I create an order here, and then I try to do this. So, okay, don't forget it has to be a post request, right? So if I do this, we can see we're able to successfully get the order, right? So what we can do is um okay, so we're going to delete those, and then we're going to say our order is equals to our status is equals to our status update. So if the user passes a status update, then this should be, we're going to put that in, or else we're just going to stick with what we have before, right? And then when we are doing that, when we are done with that, then we're going to say, well, we're going to alert the user of this update. So don't forget we have this here which we can use to alert the user. So we're going to use a fetch request for that, if the fetch API rather. So we're going to say fetch, all right, order ID. Okay, so I'm using this a lot. I'm going to store it here and then call it order, right? What was that? Okay, order ID. Okay. So I'm going to say order dot webhook URL. So this is going to be a post request, right? So method is going to be a post. Now I don't know why this is not typing on my on the same speed as I am. Okay, I think we're back. So when we make this push request, we also need to pass in what we want to send. All right, so we want to send the status updates, right? So what we're going to do is here is we're going to let's call this constant updates. Then we're going to say message order updated, order status updated, and then right here we're going to say the status is equals to orders order id dot status, right? Okay. So what we're going to pass to user here is going to be we need to stringify this, right? We need to change to a string since we are passing it over. We're sending it as data. We cannot just send it in JavaScript in a JavaScript object or JavaScript object. So I'm going to do that. Okay, and then when we are done with that, we're going to do return rest.json. So message updated, and then we're going to pass in our orders of order id. So actually I this we are not even really using this here anyway. So we're gonna call this order. I'm gonna remove this. Okay, so the server should restart now, right? So I'm going to um remove here. Not that. Yeah, I'm going to remove this here. Okay, so when we create an order here, so if I create an order, we can see that the order was created successfully, no errors. So if you try to update the order here, let me put in a response here. So we're going to say status is equals to, so this is coming from the kitchen. Okay, they're updating this order. Now let's come back here and you see we have nothing here for now. So if I try to update this and send, we can see it says updated, then we get the new updates. Now if I come here, we can see the user has gotten an update via their webhook URL saying, okay, order status updated, status cooking. So usually I might also want to pass the order ID as well, or maybe the order details. So that's just the idea. So you can keep updating and say out for delivery, and then when the kitchen updates this on the server also updates the user. As you can see here, we have another new request in, it says out for delivery, right? So we can keep doing that until it is delivered. So that's the idea of a webhook basically, and that's how it works, as you can see. So I hope I was able to do something for you guys on this, and I hope this video is not actually too long, because I don't know how long I've been on this for a while now. All right, that's it, guys. I hope this is useful for someone out there. I mean, if I had a video like this when I was learning, when I was trying to get the idea, so I just wanted to break it down for me and give me an example, I think I would have been good. But yeah, anyway, I'll see you on the next one.